Congresswoman, I want to talk about the big, beautiful bill before we talk about immigration. The one big, beautiful bill includes a big increase in defense spending for this nation. I want to now obviously now it's in the hands of the Senate. I want to toss to a bite here from Senator Ron Johnson about the prospect of this House bill in the Senate, and then I'll get your reaction.
All you heard in the House was 1.5 trillion. Sounds like a lot, but it's eager in compared to the $89 trillion we're going to be spending over the next 10 years and the $22 trillion we're going to add to the debt. And we need presidential leadership to get on board with returning to a reasonable pre-pandemic level spending.
Congresswoman, $22 trillion in debt is what the Senator Johnson said this bill will contribute over the next 10 years, yet you voted for it. What do you have to say about Senator Johnson's comments?
Well, number one, I share Senator Johnson's concerns about spending in this country, but also President Trump received a mandate in November. This is what the people want. This is what they desire, and they want us to move forward. And what the bill does is make Donald Trump's tax cuts permanent. That's huge for the middle class. It also provides funding and resources for our border so we can continue to stem the tide of the record illegal immigration that was done under Joe Biden. And I believe with the provisions in the bill that our economy is going to grow bigger and better than ever before, which would absorb some of the concerns that Senator Johnson has. But now is not the time to stall. We have to move our country forward. This is the best way to do that. But also, this doesn't have to be the only reconciliation bill. Democrats under Joe Biden set the precedent that you can do more than one. You can do multiple reconciliation bills, and we can address some of those concerns in future reconciliation bills if leadership decides that's what's right to do. But we have got to move Donald Trump's agenda forward, and if you're going to stand in the way, you're standing in the way of the American people at this juncture.
Congresswoman, do you?
Yeah, so like she said, there's a lot going on, and I even had questions too about whether or not we're going to talk about the debt in the bill. I know a lot of people are worried about, like going more into debt, but like she said, I mean, the people voted right now to get things done. He's trying to get done everything that he said he was going to do. He's working on everything one at a time. We have Doge doing what they're doing, and we just got this bill passed, and. I mean, I think it's something that people should think about, but I don't think it's something that people should worry about. At least not now. Like she said, there's another chance for us to be able to, go back and put forward another bill, to address the U.S. debt. So I mean, yeah, just give it time. Like everybody's worried. Everybody's talking on the Democratic side. About all the us spending more money, us spending more money, us spending more money. Well, we're also making cuts. We're going to be saving a lot of money. And I'm hoping that the money that we do save, is going to go towards that. And yeah, later down like a few years down the line, like I would want to see the taxes stay permanent. I mean, I would want to see us go back to pre-pandemic spending. Like I would want to see everything fall back in line. But I mean, we have to play the scale, until we can find the right balance to get all these bills pushed through. Especially since there's going to be the Democrats fighting every single thing that Trump tries to put out there.
Do you expect your Republican colleagues in the Senate to blow up this bill, or do you think they'll just make minor tweaks at this point?
I think it'll be somewhere in between. I don't think they entirely blow it up, and I think the tweaks will be more than minor. What we often see is the Senate tinker with the bill in major ways. I probably won't be happy with it, and we'll see what it looks like when it comes back to the House. But everything is a negotiation. That's what negotiation looks like, and that's what compromise has to be when you have different groups within our party fighting for what's right for their constituents and their country. We have to come to an agreement together. But they didn't get 100% of it. And so that's what negotiation looks like, and that's what compromise has to be when you have different groups within our party fighting for what's right for their constituents and their country. We have to come to an agreement together.
Yeah, so I've had an issue with that from the moment Donald Trump has stepped into office, right? The last 4 years, everyone has seen what Biden has done or what Biden hasn't done. I feel like America's fought hard already just to get Donald Trump in, and it's like now that majority of the country voted for this, wanted this, now we have to, it's like we have to jump through all these hoops, Like I feel like I feel like they're getting rid of all these regulations, like state regulations or all these regulations. They just got rid of some. They're getting rid of these regulations, to make things easier, for companies to be able to do things. And I feel like they need to get. I mean, I don't want to say they need to get rid of, but I feel like they definitely need to put out some foundational rules on what judges can do as far as stopping the president from doing what he was elected to do. I don't feel like anyone should have the power except for the people to be able to stop the president from doing what he was elected to do, in my opinion. I mean, I that's how I feel. I feel like if this is what we wanted, why do we have to fight so hard to get it done? Like I feel like at this point, like the Democrats are just saying, forget all of America, forget the majority of America, forget the 80%, forget the 70%, forget the people who voted for Donald Trump to be president, forget who voted for the small things like our school choice, people who voted for him for the border, for just specific things. They're saying forget all of you guys, and like they're just constantly just stonewalling and stopping everything, and it's annoying. It really is annoying, and it's funny because it's like we had this issue before, and I think this is why black people don't really vote anyway, is because we already like, bro, we already felt like, like voting didn't matter. We already felt, bro, and people didn't care about voting. Why we gonna vote? It don't matter. No, what we do don't matter, And then it started going from, oh, we don't matter. It's the electoral college anyway. The electoral college, right? They make the final decision, right? Now it's like, okay, whatever, we can vote. We vote for something, and it's still not even able to get the shit done that we voted for, So I mean, like at this point, it's just feeling like at this point, I'm mad. Like I'm pissed about it, Like I'm constantly seeing news station after news station beating Donald Trump for every little thing he doing. Going to Qatar, they're talking about the plane. They're not talking about the deals that he's making there. He goes meets with the African president. He shows some shit that people should probably be looking at and taking a lot more seriously. And people want to talk about, oh, he bombarded the president. He bombarded him, or he rushed him, and he pushed him against the wall, whatever they were saying. Like. It's like, bro, like, I mean, like, everything this man is doing, like, you guys are pushing against it.
So when do we get our hands around the deficit? I mean, when does that conversation happen, if not now?
Well, I think you're seeing it in some of the work that DOGE is doing, and I wish we were doing more to codify the DOGE cuts when we're cutting that kind of spending, and there's more to do. And I'm looking at all of the DoD contracts. I'm glad that we're increasing defense spending, but we also need to address all of these multi-billion-dollar contracts where some of our private contractors are literally, they have hundreds of people on contracts that aren't doing any work. Those contracts need to be cut, and we need to start over and be much more efficient with our dollars. But in cutting the spending and what DOGE is doing, that is step one in addressing the problem. But also the other thing we have to do is grow the economy. And I believe the provisions that Donald Trump is championing will help grow our GDP in ways that can absorb some of the debt and deficit that's on the horizon.
Yeah, so cuts. Yeah, he's going to be making a lot of cuts, and he's going to have to make a lot of cuts. I mean, especially if we want to save money. When I was in the Army, man, we always talked about and like joked about how much the Army spends on the cheapest shit. Like these government these contractors, they come in and like the work, like the equipment subpar, like everything's like the lowest of the low, but it's like they spend millions on this crap, right? And we were the Joes, we were the Joes, you feel me? Like we were the privates, the specialists, the PFCs, like we were the, like we were the ones using equipment the most, like we were the ones down there listening to those janky ass radios, like fixing those janky ass radios, like, but I mean, yeah, like there's gonna be a lot of cuts though, there's gonna be cuts, people getting laid off, there's gonna be a lot of it. But we have to get it done, and it's going to hurt. Like, I don't understand how, I really don't understand this. It's like, everyone knows, like, you have to go through it a little bit before you can make it to the top, man. Nothing's going to be easy, especially change. Change is not easy. You want to go what do they say? You want to go the path. You don't want to go the path of least resistance, right? Right. You want to be able to push through things, right? You want to be able to, go through and do it on your own. You want to take the hard route. You want to do what nobody else is doing. You want to change the status quo. Like you want to be on the outside looking in. Like that's what people tell you, and that's what he's doing. And he's doing it. Yeah, he's doing it in a way. That's a lot different. He's saying it in a way that's a lot different, but he's getting things done. Okay, he's getting things done, and he's staying within the realm of like his authority. Like, yeah, I don't agree with it, but he has to go and he has to listen to what the Supreme Court says, right? And if they agree with it, they agree with it. And if they don't, then they don't. And he stopped, okay? Boom. But there's nothing wrong with anything that he's doing. I agree. I feel like it needs to be done. The cuts need to be done. They need to wipe everything off the table. Yeah, start over. Start from scratch.
Congresswoman, before I let you go, I want to talk about illegal immigration. You have the judge, Brian Murphy, who has blocked the Trump administration's deportation of 8 illegal immigrants, not just 8 illegal immigrants, those who have been convicted of murder, pedophilia, sexual abuse, essentially saying that these folks deserve due process. Now, this plane of 8 illegal immigrants landed in Djibouti, and they are now there until this is adjudicated. What do you make of this judge's decision, and what do you have to say to those who say that even the worst of the worst deserve due process?
Well, they didn't get due process. They didn't want due process on their way in illegally. They shouldn't get due process on their way out. They need to be deported immediately, particularly the murderers, the pedophiles, the child molesters, the rapists. They got to go first, and that's what Donald Trump is doing. But guess what? Judge Brian Murphy, he's not Secretary of State. He's not the President of the United States. He's not God. He does not get to override Donald Trump and his agenda to keep America safe. And so I hope that Donald Trump will keep deporting those murderers and rapists and do it as quick as he can, because we need to keep women and kids safe in our country. And these illegals who are here, and what I understand is some of these countries just open up their prisons and let these violent criminals come walk right into the United States of America. It's wrong, and we have the right to stand up for ourselves, our freedoms, our liberty, and our national security. At this point, it's a national security problem.
So yeah, like this is what I was saying earlier. Like I do not agree with judges like having the power to just stop what the president, is doing. Like I said, he's doing what he was elected to do. Just because a judge feels some type of way doesn't mean that he can just jump in, throw down his hammer, and be like, no, that's it. Like that is complete BS. And like they definitely need to fix this stuff by the end of his term. Hopefully way before then, because I don't feel like judges can just do that just because you're feeling some type of way about a situation. And like I said, everything he's doing, I feel like he's in the right to do. These people came here illegally, right? So why should they be allowed any type of due process? You didn't go through no type of due process to get here. Why should you have to go through due process to get out? To get out of here? As far as I'm concerned, you're really not even here. Really, I'm just playing. All right, yeah, but I mean, like as far as I'm concerned, I mean, y'all don't have none of the rights as anybody who is in here, who's here legally. You feel me? Like, so I don't understand that. And then the fact, yeah, like she said, apparently people like were letting psychos, like killers, rapists, child molesters, like out of their prisons here, and then didn't even want to take them back. How so? So I mean, like I don't understand why people are looking at this like we're the bad guy. If me and a group of my boys were chilling outside, and I say this all the time, bro, if me and my boys were chilling outside, right? It's 5 of us, right? We like, hey, look, man, we got to go across the street to this house, and we're gonna walk up on their porch and we just gonna sneak into their house, right? If they catch us, we'll worry about that later. All right, we're gonna get in there though. We go in, sneak in, right? She come home, we hide in there. She here. Oh my God, boom. She find out we there. She call the police. Boom. What you think gonna happen to us? Gone. So it should be the same for them. I don't feel like I swear, man, it's so wrong. But I hate saying things like this, but it's like, bro, like the black community, bro, like y'all watching all this stuff that's going on and how they're treating these people, like these like people who came here illegally, right? I'm not talking about regular migrants. You feel me? Like I'm not talking about anybody who did the paperwork to get here. You know, I'm talking about people who snuck through here, lied to get here, you know, played it off, you know, and tried to play the system. You should have no rights, none at all, right? None at all. You came here illegally, you can get up out of here. And the crazy thing is, they're giving these people chances too. Like they're like, yo, like if you leave on your own, you feel me? You can come back. Just do it the right way. Okay? Like so like the stuff like it's not like he's being as mean, you know, as he want. You know, but I mean like I said though, you know, like for black people, bro, like this dude, like, come on, man, like look how they're treating these people, illegal immigrants, man. Like they're going to these people, fighting for these people, going to jails, fighting for these jails, sneaking them out the back, you feel me, of courthouses. You feel me? Spending millions, getting millions of dollars to spend on them. Healthcare, clothes, hotels, food card, like their own little personalized like food cards. Remember, because they didn't want to eat the food that they had, right? So they had to give them money to go get their own food. Like, come on, man. But we out here, we got our people out here struggling. You feel me? Trying to really pick themselves up, trying to find, you know, the resources. And yeah, I feel another way about it because I do feel like the resources are there. But still, you feel me? Like they too focus on what they gonna do for, the next day. You know, I get it. Okay, but for them to put this much energy into illegal immigrants, people who came here illegally, they broke the law to get here, and some of these people have already, like, these are like I said, like gangbangers, killers, rapists, like thugs. You feel me? That they're protecting. But yeah, man, that's all I got to say about this, though, man. I'm gonna see y'all next time. Peace.